They say all is fair in love and war, and I say, hey, why don't we just go to a fair? Today we're going to 3 fairs, one in Indiana, one in Malibu, and one in Norwalk, Connecticut. As summer is peaking and we're sliding into fall, let's find out what makes these fairs similar and different. Now, I grew up in the Midwest, and this is what you'd expect from most fairs. Amish types of things, traditional farming, animals, plants, stuff like that. The thing I like most about these types of fairs is you get up and close with the animals and you get to pet them. Look at this cow. Look how cute he is. I grew up in a rural area where things like 4-H were common, and my high school was near a cow farm. The miracles of nature are coupled with the fact that these guys smell terrible. Terrible during the summer, and just awful. But they are cute little guys though. Look how cute they are. It's a good family event to teach your kids about nature and stuff. Look at these eggs. They're incubating. Ooh, look, a chick's ready to hatch. Hey there, chick. Oh, there he goes. Whoa, he's coming out of there. It's pretty cool. It was crazy hot on this day. I remember it being like around 100 degrees, but it was still fun to be out there. I mean, look at this bubble tower. You can find them at bubbletower.com. They also had a Lego exhibit for some reason. It was vaguely farm themed, so I can see why it would be involved in all this. But some of it was just like, hey, this is a neat Lego art piece. Look at this. This is a Purdue P. Hey, this one has the lady's face on one side, and then on the other side it had something else. Now, one for one, this might not have that much to do with farming really, but I think it's cool when a community or a group of people, or people that have a hobby, have an opportunity to showcase said hobby. I mean, Legos are an enormously popular toy, so I'm just going to say, hey, it was cool that there was this weird Lego Batman. I also feel like it's a requirement that fairs have food and rides. This one had a whole bunch. I ended up riding this Ferris wheel with my son. Pickles on a stick, pickles on a stick. I think if you're in the Indiana area and you want to see some cool stuff, you should definitely go to this next year. This dinosaur, by the way, was totally one of those glow dinosaurs they usually put at zoos. It's very interesting to me the number of weird things that exist all over the place. There's so many zoos with these particular things. Next up, it's time to chill out at the Oyster Festival in Norwalk, Connecticut. Now, first things first, this one had an immense line. I cannot describe it any other way. They also had a Beyblade activation here. I have nothing against this. I'm actually pro Beyblade at fairs. I don't believe it was a build your own Beyblade thing, but they did show you all of the things that you could build a Beyblade out of. They had a Polar Seltzers setup, which is a Massachusetts brand. I love them. They are my favorite seltzers, hands down. They were kid flavors, but my kid doesn't like seltzers, so he had me drink the spicy water. They had face painting, but my kid didn't want face painting, so we got him a arm-painted Spider-Man. He's a big fan. There was a bunch of vendors with a bunch of arts and crafts. It was nice to see this type of thing at a community event. You know, they said that the cotton candy was low calorie, but I think that was a fair retail. I did end up going with the funnel cake and a hero. Call me Chad Kroger because I need a hero to save me. Now, I'm not gonna lie, these pretzels were out of this world. Some might say I have a twisted sense of humor, but I just like pretzels.
That's really good pretzel. Man, that's a really good pretzel.
I loved the extra community activities they had, and of course it was an oyster festival, so I ended up getting this big plate of oysters. You might be thinking to yourself, Self, what's better than a whole bunch of oysters in the hot sun? And to that I reply, nothing. Nothing at all. I decided to share these with friends because I didn't want to be shellfish, but when I was thinking about what to say about these, I couldn't think of what to say. I just clammed up. I guess I'm just going through a rough shuck right now. But whenever you're going to a community event, remember, eat local, drink local. You can take that pearl of wisdom home with you. They had a ton of rides here and they were divvied out via tickets. And I ended up getting like way too many tickets. It was like $30 for like 100 tickets, which was way too many because my buddy, who I was there with, also got 100 tickets. And we only had 2 kids with us, so we had like way too many tickets. I guess my only question about carnival rides is where do they keep them throughout the year when they're not being used? I guess I'll never know. I can't think of a better combination than oysters, fried foods, and spinning rides. If you're ever in Norwalk and you want to go to a festival, I would say go to this fair right here, the Oyster Festival, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun and it's a good time with family and friends. The only thing I would say is arrive early because that line is very long. What exploration of the great American pastime of fairs isn't complete without going to Malibu for a chili cook-off. I'm playing fast and loose with the definition of a fair when I lump a chili cook-off in there. And at first I was like, what does Malibu even know about fairs? Look at these prices, they're too high. But then somebody handed me a LaCroix for free, and I was like, this is better than the LaCroix in my region. This is delicious, and I'm having a great time. Everything was a little bit more expensive than usual, but I gotta say I admired the design, and it looked like everybody was having a pretty chill good time, myself included. There were clothing brands all over the place, and I gotta say I really liked this one in particular. I ended up buying a hat from them, even though later I thought, you know what, I bet this hat is just like a little bit too big for my head. Well, that's a gross name for an ice cream stand. Cool. And this rad cola was okay. For me, it's so interesting that things like this dragon ride right here are the types of things that I see at all of the fairs. Sometimes everybody wants to get on semi-dangerous rides that are dubious in nature. I won a carnival game, and I won my kid this ghost pepper, but I gotta be honest, I was a carny when I was in high school. And my kid rode this ride by himself. When I think chili, I don't necessarily think Malibu, but at the end of the day, they did have a decent selection of chilies throughout. While this is all a little expensive for chili, I gotta admit, I lived in New York for years, and I'm very used to these types of prices. And I gotta say, overall, this is about the amount of chili I want anyways. It was super hot out, and Clover Sonoma was handing out this organic milk, and I gotta say, it was really good, especially considering it only had 2 grams of added sugar, and I drank so much milk, because I was the only one that would drink it. I followed them on some social platform and they ended up giving me one of these clear things. They're super cool. I guess no matter where you're at, a gathering in a community is a fun time. So make sure that this summer you go to some fair somewhere. It doesn't matter where you are, a fair's a fun time.